Hello, 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 everyone. This is Jasmine from A Notch Higher Living YouTube channel. I know you haven't seen me in a while because I have not been here in a while. Been finishing up class, there was a wedding and things, life has happened. But I am here again with a beautiful and wonderful person that I will interview. Her name is Diane Morrison. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Jasmine.
How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Excellent. So today's show will be about mentoring. Diane Morrison is the owner of 2Way Communications, and she is a leadership and leadership trainer, leadership and development trainer, coach, and executive coach. I do not have your bio, Diane, because I wanted to do this a little bit more casual, but at the same time, I wanted everyone to know that you have been someone in my life. And I had to think about it from 2016. I was just like, wow, this is going to be amazing. So again, one thing of the channel is that it is something that I have created. It was in 2020, June 2020. So we're actually on 2 years. And the purpose of the channel was to create a space and environment where healthy relationship skills could be learned, developed, practiced so that they can ultimately thrive. So one thing I wanted to bring to the viewers today was the importance of mentoring and how mentorship has impacted my life. And we're honoring Juneteenth today. It's the 20th of June. And one thing that you talked about right before this started recording was just the impact that it will make over time as more people know about our history. So we're going to go to our history. So first thing off, are you ready?
I am ready.
All righty. So I want to give a definition of the word mentoring. This is in English, and I found it from the dictionary. It's the act or process of helping and giving advice to a younger or less experienced person, especially in a job or at school. So I wanted to start off with this because sometimes people have their own definition or what they think mentoring is, but it is the process of giving advice to a younger or less experienced person. You were more experienced and you are more experienced in your own business of leadership and training. And I actually asked a mutual friend of ours to connect. So I wanted to start off right there. I wanted to know why you decided to accept my request and mentor me.
Yeah. You know, in a kind of in alignment with your goal, Jasmine, you asked. I mean, so many times we do not ask.
That's true.
Maybe the person will say, we're worried the person will say no, but you asked.
That is very true.
And then we met, and you drove it. You really, you took responsibility for the relationship, and I also at times took responsibility for making sure I touched base. But I think that's the key thing. You asked.
Wow. That is really powerful because when you say it that way, I was surprised when you accept it, but you're right. If we never ask, we never can be rejected and or accepted.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
I have to pause with that because I think a lot of times we assume that someone's not going to connect with us, so we never ask.
Yeah.
So that's lesson number 1. Just ask. I love it. Okay. So I do have questions. This is not going to be a formal interview. At the same time, I do want to listen to what your thoughts are. And mentoring, like the definition says, is a process. I wanted to get your thoughts on what you thought one to three important things about mentoring that someone should consider, maybe as a mentor or a mentee or both, like whatever you one or two things that you think is important in the mentoring process.
Yeah. You also knew what you wanted to get out of it. You had a good idea. And that really helped me to support you in a way that was going to meet your goals.
Okay.
And you always felt open. So sometimes if there was an opportunity that I had and I asked you about it, you were always ready for it.
Okay.
And that was probably, those two things: know what you want
Know what you want.
and
Okay.
communicate that to your mentor.
Okay.
And then, when your mentor has some opportunities, be willing to jump in, right, and take those opportunities.
That makes sense. Yes. I love it. And I think one thing that you just mentioned, the opportunities that you provided, I think early on when I think about this, I remember you kept asking, how can I support you? It was a question direct, but I would have to literally think sometimes because to your point, I wanted the conversation to progress. At the same time, I had not had um, everything written out in stone, but you were willing to, walk me through the process and you kept asking, how can I support you? So, like you said, that, knowing what we want to be supported in as a mentor and being able to articulate that.
Yeah.
And accepting the opportunities when they do come.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So again, the purpose of the channel is creating spaces and environments. So I wanted you to be okay with me sharing a few scenarios. I have written them down because I said, with our connection, those opportunities that you mentioned, I had to stop myself, literally, like, wow, this connection, it wasn't to me something that you were doing because you didn't have anything else to do. I always feel value and I feel like you value our time. And I just wanted to share certain things as a person who's on the mentor side with what this is meant to me. Would you be okay with that?
Oh, I would love that. I would love
Okay.
to.
So I wrote this down because I didn't want to overlook it. You mentioned it, but this is the first one: being willing to invite me to different settings. I went to an HR summit, a training course, and I mean, there are other things like even us connecting. We've gone to eat together and just connecting together. Your open invitation. I have a love language and it's quality time. So for me, when you are a very successful, busy, professional business owner. Your time, you never spent the time with me where you're looking over my head like, okay, I have to go now. And just being willing to take that time, for me, that was priceless. That is priceless, even you doing this now. We worked on course development together. I remember our time at the library, the Birmingham Library. We worked on putting the learning content together. And I say that specifically because, again, the timing, we weren't in a formal classroom. You had your sticky notes and you let me know why you did what you did. You explained a design document. I came out of a master's degree program and it wasn't formulated that specific the way that you actually use it with your clients, and you let me know why you use the steps and the processes, and you ask me questions. So that's really one thing. Another thing, let me see. I put number 3. I showed up in the room when I wasn't present, and I'm going to share this because we worked on a course together, and you, in a future scenario with your client, you secured an agreement. I didn't have to know anything about that. And I thought about that. That's the way I'm articulating it. You said, "Hey, guess what? A client purchased our course." To me, that, yes, you gave me dollars, money, resources. Honestly, for me, it was more of the fact that I didn't have to know anything about it. No one would have known. I would have not known. And that in of itself spoke volumes to me because I was in a room where I was not present, I was not physically present. And to me, that helps me to see that this mentoring process is not just about a performative process. It's not something that you do to make it look. that's who you are. Your character shines through and through with that. So I realized I was in a room that I never would have ever been able to walk in myself because you decided that I could be there. So that was another ring. The individual contributor program. That's a project that I created for a role that I am in outside of my regular job, but you being willing, even though in my mind I wanted to go somewhere else, it didn't. At the same time, you were willing to put your time and your attention, your expertise, and be a coach for that program. Um, what I've learned from you too is that there are things that we want to pursue. They don't always pan out as we intend. At the same time, we still can put excellence, and it's not that it was a waste of time. Sometimes it may not just be the proper time, so to speak, but that's what I learned where you gave 120% without us bearing, residual from it. Not yet. Let me see. I remember this, and you'll probably laugh when you hear this one. We met with an author to discuss a possible project. I reached out to someone and I said, "Oh, well, my mentor, she may be someone that can assist." Nothing happened there, but again, I was on a call with, I believe they're a New York Times bestseller. I believe so. At the same time, you provided another connection point that you had with someone else, and you were able to let me know, well, this is what I had done in the past. And that actually opened my eyes to what licensing agreements are all about. And you have been open to share what that has been helpful and beneficial to you and your organization and your company. And then my last one, and it's funny, I have six because I stopped, but I realized since 2016, that'll be 6 years. So I picked one for every year. So I just put as a conglomeration, your willingness to share, invest time, listen, and I say believe. You've asked question, but I'll go back to believe because I think what I've sat in under our time together, and I don't want to say under, but with our time, through our time together, you actually believe and you see something in me and it comes through. And I want to again articulate that because I don't believe that I would have received that had I not been in the room and had we not been in the space. I'll bring into this story when I went to China, Beijing. That's what I feel like the mentoring process has been to me. It's not something that I could have read about or that I would have hoped that someone would have taught me about. We had to be in the space together. So I put that word believe there because, again, when you've invited me to projects, I accept it because I said, well, she asked, she must believe that I could do it.
Mhm.
So I can't pretend that away. In asking questions, you follow up and you pace the relationship. I don't feel like you tried to rush us into a place, and I don't feel like you kind of left me hanging. Again, sometimes it was you following up to say, "Hey, how's it going?" And those things all together, I'll put a bow on it with pacing the relationship. It has helped me see that if there is something worth developing, it's worth putting the time in. And I believe that's what I've been able to glean out of our connection together. Again, this is not something that has been polished over time in a format where we've had to do it a certain way, but I believe we've crafted our own way of connecting with each other. So those are some of the things that I have gotten out of, or I have gleaned and I have received and I appreciate out of our time together. So are there any examples that you would like to you don't have to do that many or are there anything from the examples that you would like to touch base on? And no pressure.
Yeah, no. A couple of examples. I, as a mentor, a lot of times we do people just in general do things that they're good at, but they don't understand why they're good at it or how their thinking is.
Mhm.
So when we would meet, I would learn about myself as well.
Mm.
And,
How
so,
so?
um, so like when we were in the library, doing that design,
Yes.
it made me think about how do I do a design? Because I've got to convey that to Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time when we were at the HR summit
Yes.
and you made a comment to me about just being myself.
Hmm.
And I had never thought about that before.
Wow.
And, like you don't have to be like stiff and formal. You can just be, fun and
Yeah.
loving. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little things like that, that I would catch glimpses of myself,
Mm-hmm.
as I worked with you. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So for you, how has mentorship affected you personally and professionally? Not just our relationship. Have you received mentorship that has been something for your personal life or
Uh,
professional?
so have I been mentored before?
Yes. Yes.
You know what? I probably the person that I would say came closest to being my mentor, and not close, but she was,
Okay.
is a woman named Barb Goff.
Okay.
And she worked at Oakland University, but we also worked together in the work environment. And she really took me under her wing and helped me be successful in my career. And
Okay.
and I really appreciated her. I mean, she was very important to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What were like one or the two of the reasons why you saw that?
You know what? She maybe, same thing you said, is she just believed in me. And so she
Mm,
would give me projects so that I would get more experience
okay.
or share with me opportunities. And it's just really nice to know that you have someone that has your back, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That is
Yeah.
actually when we talk about relationship skills and the development, I know that that's a term that I say, but um, people connection is very important. And when you have someone who supports you and has your back, that's gold. Because there are so many times in spaces where we just don't. We could be in the highest of the highest heights in our career or um, in relationships, but not really feel like we are supported. And that doesn't give us a firm grounding. So mm, let's just sit in that. That's nice. So I want to thank you
You're
for
welcome.
being that for me. I know um, this has been an interesting road because we've had COVID in inside of this, but I do appreciate you having my back, having the willingness and the courage to accept someone who you didn't know, who looks a little different from you, who we didn't know what would happen, but you were willing to um, open up your calendar, open up your space. And again, for me being able to learn from someone who learned from someone else. And one thing I really learned from you is that you put in the work. You may not, I don't want to say you don't know how to do it, but you'll find out a way. You ask the questions, you'll get what you need. Um, you're willing to you're willing to do your due diligence. That's what it is that I saw in you and I see in you. And you're willing to open up and to um, be honest with yourself, even if it means asking some hard questions and answering those questions. Um,
Yeah. And so I get to say too, I, um, the person being mentored is not the person that gets all of the joy or
mm,
the benefit, I guess.
okay.
And some of the conversations that we have been some of the best conversations ever.
Mm,
And you're willing to share with me a different perspective. You mentioned that we don't look alike,
yeah.
And especially during the last, maybe 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
really, you have been willing to share your perspective and, just some things that you've experienced and you see. And that has been, to me, helped me become a whole person. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I really appreciate our conversations.
I do too. I do as well. Thank you. Thank you. So again, this wasn't going to be long. I did want to capture the moment though, because what I do understand is that every person doesn't have a mentoring connection, personally or professionally. But one thing that I want to come back to everyone in hearing that Diane said, and I'm grateful that I was able to do this. Sometimes you just need to ask. This actual YouTube channel it started off me being a book nerd, which I still am. And I started in 2020 and I wanted to review books, but I did want to create a space where people can, you know what, let me be completely transparent. I realize what I'm doing for others is what I'm doing for myself, meaning I want to be in a place where I can learn, develop, practice, and thrive in having healthy relationship skills. And there is something that only the person doing the learning can do. And what I mean by that is, like I asked you, Diane, about the possibility of just getting to know you doing this YouTube channel. I don't know how far it will go, but I will keep doing it because I know that it's helping me to learn more about myself and learn more about connecting with others. So the last question I was going to ask about pitfalls of mentoring and mentorship, but I'm going to skip that one because what I do want to savor in this moment is the mentoring process altogether. I think what I get, and I'm not going to just answer my question, pitfalls can be if we don't show up to the table and we are not willing to grow and learn. I think that, I mean, we have people, and wherever people are, people will be. So I am grateful to be able to share this moment with people, to say, Diane Morrison, I'm not opening up the floor for her to have mentoring gigs and mentoring clients because she's busy. At the same time, I want people to be able to understand that you may have someone in your life that you may want to ask to possibly start connecting with. You may not say, will you mentor me? But just take them out or get on Zoom with them. Think about what you want to be and what you want to do in your life. Maybe just not professionally, personally. If you have a gentleman who is a good father and he's been a father for however long with his family, and you want to be a better father. If you are a single mom, you are a child who, yes, children too. If you are a recent college graduate, or if you're still in college, a high school student, whoever you are, if you see somebody who's further along with you than you, don't be afraid to ask and see if they would just connect with you so that you can build better and healthier relationships. So that's all we have today. Diane, do you want to say anything else?
That was perfectly said.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So until next time, I will see you all later. Thank you. Bye-bye.